This is Photoshop Project 7 House Painting. We are still in Stage 2, Painting with Brushes. You need to make sure that your sketch background layer is visible. We're going to create a new layer right above the window layer. Don't worry about naming it. And in your colors, make sure that you're using the default black and white and that the black is the foreground color for this. We're going to pick up the pencil tool, and in the pencil tool we're going to select a hard round brush and change the size to 5 pixels. We're not going to actually draw with the pencil tool, but we're going to use the pencil tool to create the strokes. We're going to be making an open path, so this is going to work slightly different than what we did creating the closed paths. Next, you're going to pick up your pen tool and you're going to draw a straight line to make this first line across for dividing the window panes. Click. There we go. Okay. In my paths, I now have my work path. And I am going to use my path options and I'm going to select Stroke Path. This gives me an option dialog box and I am going to select the pencil and say OK. Now remember, we did that setup already with the black stroke, so that has been applied. I'm going to go back into my pencil tool and I'm going to change my brush down to a 3 pixel brush and swap my foreground and background color. And then I'll go back into my options and again I'm going to stroke the path with the pencil, and this will lay the white 3 pixel line on top of the 5 pixel black. Go back to your layers panel so you can keep track of what you're doing. Pick up your move tool and holding down your Alt and your Shift key, you're going to click and clone that layer to make the next horizontal pane line. Again, do the same thing and clone to make the final line. Now, you can use whatever method you want to make the rest of these lines. You can clone again and rotate and place these lines in. You can draw them with the pen tool, you can restroke them. Whatever method you would prefer to use, go ahead and finish this window. And I'll do mine and I'll get back with you when I'm finished. Okay, now that all of my window parts are created, I'm going to go back into my layers panel. I'm going to move window all the way to the top of the stack, and I'm going to select my window layer with all of the different layers that I made, and I'm going to open my layers panel options and I'm going to merge those layers. Now they're all merged into the single layer called window. And I'm going to turn off my sketch so that I can see what I've created. And I found out right here I've missed one. So I'll need to back up and put that window pane in. And there I've completed my window. Okay, now let's hide our window and turn on the garage door and our sketch. Let's go back over to the garage door, and we are going to create the lines around the garage. Make sure your garage door is your active layer, and in your swatches panel, change your foreground color to the Doors 4 swatch. Pick up your brush tool, and in the options bar, we're going to again pick up our hard round brush and change the size to 25 pixels. Open the blending mode menu and choose Behind. Click and drag across the top dividing line in the garage door. Keep your brush fairly low. This is actually a much larger brush than we probably needed. And then do the same to fill in the other dividing lines that are in the door. You also want to fill the space to the sides of the door. After you've outlined all of the door panels, go back into your Layers panel and show the Trim layer and move the front trim layer up to the top of the layer stack. Much of what's left on this is just more of the same thing. You need to fill in the empty areas. Apply a stroke around the house trim, the fascia, the pavement. You could do this with brushes, painting individual strokes. There's another method that can accomplish the same general result in less time. This was kind of tedious doing around the outside of the door. Make sure your front trim layer is the active layer. You're going to create a selection that contains only the filled area of the front trim layer. Remember, you can do that by Control or Command clicking the front trim layer thumbnail. Choose Select, Modify, Expand. You're going to get a dialog box and you want to type in 4. That's going to give you 4 pixels around whatever is selected. And then say OK. Now go into Select, Modify again, and choose Feather. We want 3 pixels. This is going to give a little bit softer edge, which is going to be a little more natural shadows. And again, say OK to that. If your foreground color is not still Doors 4, make sure that that's what you've got. It is. And now go to Edit and Fill. And on this one, be careful. You want to pick the foreground color and you want to select behind for your blending mode. Then you can click OK. The behind mode has the same effect like painting with behind did. So it puts everything in back of what we had, so we don't have to worry about anything bleeding over. Deselect, Control D, and then you can hide your sketch layer so you can see what you've got. Now show the fascia layer and drag it to the top of the layer stack. Now we're going to do the same thing for the fascia layer. So Control click on it to select it. Go to Select, Modify and Expand. Next, show your pavement layer and drag it below the garage doors layer. Do the same thing for the pavement layer, and this time use the Pavement 2 swatch. And make sure you don't do the feathering. You're doing the same thing, but you're not going to put a feather on this one. Deselect everything. Select a hard brush and fill in, using behind mode, anything on the pavement that was not filled in. So there's only a few areas that you may need to clean up. Particularly this section under the garage door. When you've completed that, you can save your file.